Okay, so you have met in Georgia with some of your representatives, and how receptive are they to this new proposal?
Well, we're beginning to get some good reception. John Linder, one of the freshman elected representatives, has definitely come out publicly in favor of a national sales tax, providing it's to replace the income tax system.
All right, national sales tax. Explain exactly how this would work.
When you spend your money at the retail level on consumable items, you would in fact pay a percentage, just as you do probably now in the state.
Well, we're going to get an energy if everything goes the way they're proposing. We're going to pay more for gasoline and more. So this is the kind of thing you're saying we would just across the board pay more for taxable
Essentially,
items.
that would be about the same approach. This would be on all.
But you wouldn't be paying income tax.
And you would not be paying any
goods and services.
Because they're paid.
Nobody pays taxes but people. Corporations only collect taxes. They don't pay them. They put them in the prices of the goods and services. Once the indirect taxation has been purged from the marketplace, and the national sales tax is the only tax you pay, prices will drop.
Well, that sounds incredible.
Probably about 20 to 25%.
Right. All right, now what about poor people who can't afford to pay the taxes like some of the other people?
Okay, the Katz proposal that will be forwarded to Congress will be one which will include a rebate system, which would say that everyone would, since you're going to spend all of your first dollars, let's face it, for living and so forth, everyone up to what would be determined as the poor level, 18, 19,000, would get a rebate. Everyone, not just the poor, everyone. So you have a level return of whatever you paid in on a quarterly basis. You fill out a simple form, justify your income, showing where it came from, and send it in, and the federal government would send it back to you.
In other words, it's going to simplify income tax because we don't have income tax.
We won't have.
We can save $600 billion a year that is currently taken from the economy in tax preparation activities.
What are we going to do with the IRS?
Well, those folks would have to get honest work. And,
I love it.
There's a movie out today called The Firm, which I saw just the other week, a couple days ago. And in it, there's a line Gene Hackman delivers about how the whole system is a game, wherein the tax preparers and lawyers teach the rich how to play the game, and they pay the lawyers a lot of money. We could eliminate a lot of that. Tax accountants, we're not talking about putting these people out of work.
No.
Tax accountants, tax preparers, currently who are doing that work, and really many of them resent being paper shufflers for the IRS and the government. They could devote their activities to showing businesses how to become more productive, how to compete in this new international market in which we find ourselves.
To give you an idea, last year, all of the people combined, spent 5.4 billion hours filling out income tax forms and related documents.
Have you noticed how dispositions go to pot in this country around April 15th?
No.
April 15th could become just another day on the calendar. What a delightful experience.
And so to get your rebate, you would simply have a very simple form
That's
that you would
right.
send in. It wouldn't be any of this complication. Okay. How viable is your idea to propose it to the grassroots to get it passed in Congress? I mean, you know, the President of the United States is having his problems convincing Congress to change the way they've been doing things.
What's he changing?
But, well, I don't know, but he's saying, you know, energy tax, and
That's
he
a whole
thinks we're
nother
going to reduce.
show.
But this system, based upon the way that our government was set up in the original, going back to the basics that we had in our country, how do we turn the tide? How do we do it?
And if I may, we have to go, the Katz proposal is, we're still dealing with a symptom of the overall disease.
Yes.
The overall disease is what role we as an American citizenry wish the government to play in our lives. If we can redefine that role and take it back to where it was originally, government would be a considerably smaller part of our lives. It would cost a great deal less, and we could become more productive. For 126 years, before 1913, and slightly beyond that, because the income tax hadn't kicked in, we saw America's growth grow phenomenally. Since that period, we have literally slowed down.
And people get in trouble because they're trying to avoid taxes, so they're always tempted to cheat and do all this.
All that's non-productive activity.
For instance, that brings a very good point. We know that, for instance, currently over $250 billion are not being collected by from the underground. That economy operates without paying taxes. And yet, the President's proposal tries to get $290 billion over a 5-year period from the rest of us. In other words, What's fair about this system we've got right now? It's
Every
unreal.
time the drug dealer or the pornographer or whoever went out to spend his money to buy a yacht or a new car,
He'd have to pay
that tax. There would be no avoidance and evasion at this point. And it would be clearly stated on the bill of sale each and every time you bought something. Unlike the VAT tax, which is very popular in Europe and literally destroying economies there, this system, if you paid $1,000 for a stereo system, the number we're using right now is around 16%. At the bottom of that bill of sale would be $160 cost of your federal government. The question each and every consumer would ask at that time would be, am I getting my money's worth?
And that's the critical point. That's what we want them to know.
It's visible.
In other words, they would see up front what taxes, no hidden taxes, no...
That's right. And then the politician trying to make all of these hidden changes and stuff would have a difficult time of it, because we wouldn't allow it.
Once this current philosophy of hiding taxes, once those taxes are in the system, people have a tendency to forget about them. Do you recall when gas prices sagged back during the Arab, there was a period there about 4 years ago, they added a 5% federal gas tax. That's been absorbed. It's gone now. It's in the system.
And take
People have forgotten.
another example. What did the administration try to do but pass the BTU tax? Let me ask you, when was the last time you went out and bought 1.25 million BTUs of gas, and what did you put it in? How would you know you were taxed fairly? You wouldn't.
That's
Neither
what, 10
does anyone
gallons of
else.
gasoline?
That's equivalent to 10 gallons of gasoline. Not only that, for different kinds of energy, it was going to be a different tax. So if it was diesel, it was one thing. That's crazy to write a tax law that's goofed up and hidden, and that's why we wanted to do away with it. There would be no deductions for anyone other than this is not a deduction, the rebate that would go back to the...
We have a circuit breaker for the poor.
And other than that, everybody pays their fair share. They pay it as they go rather than on the 15th of April or some other period of time. Look at the tax system right now. They're going to go back to January the 1st, although this is, we're not going to put it in effect until October probably. They're going to go back to January the 1st.
So a lot of us are going to be paying income tax in April.
And
retroactive.
You're going to have to go in and borrow money in order to pay income taxes that they've scooped around. That's wrong. It's absolutely wrong.
Okay, we're going to give you an address, and we're going to give you a chance to call in and ask some questions. You can simply write to the Citizens for an Alternative Tax. You can simply say CATS, C-A-T-S, and it's P.O. Box 28758, Atlanta, Georgia, 30358, and there's a dash on that, dash 0758. 0758 is part of their box number there. Or you can simply call a toll-free number, 1-800-767-7577, or you can call them directly. Most of them will be in the office at some point, 404-942-1074. Now, we're going to open the phone lines if you would like to call in and ask some questions. The number to call here at WTVY is 792-3195. We'll take a few calls, and then we'll move them to an office and let them continue to get calls. How you can become a part of CATS, Citizens for Alternative Tax System, how you can find out more. They'll be glad to send you brochures, information, how to affect your congressman or legislature if you would like to do that, from the local level all the way up. And I can't tell if we've got any calls coming in. Let me move the phone over here so I can see. The number to call is 792-3195. And gentlemen, are you planning to be around any today? Are you going on back to Atlanta?
We will be around for a while. We were going to circulate around the town and talk to some people and hand out some flyers and so forth. I'd like to point out that the important thing that people understand is that the only way that we can all work on this thing is to get active and involved. Many people think nothing can be done. They think it's...
They like your idea, but they don't want to get involved.
Right. We hardly ever find anybody that doesn't think it's really a good idea, and that's the problem.
Okay, we got every line lit up. Let's get one. Good morning. Do you have a question? Go ahead.
I'd like to speak to these men.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm really in favor of what they're talking about. And I would certainly like to see them get to be president and vice president.
Okay.
We're not running, I'm sorry. We have honest jobs.
But she likes it. Okay, thank you for calling. Good morning. Do you have a question or comment?
Yes, the regressiveness of this tax is complete there. In other words, it'll put the burden, more burden on the lower income people, and won't. Also, you have 8% in Dothan, you have 9.5% in Mobile sales tax you're going to add there, and so we talk about 25% to start with. Well, as far as the value added, we certainly don't want that. Now, that's a hidden thing, and the politicians might have a field day with that. They might want to comment on the people that make more money should pay a little more tax.
Okay, caller, let me deal with that. We have the circuit breaker we discussed earlier for those below, say, between $18,000 and $20,000. That level would have to be determined. But let me just point out to you that a heavy progressive income tax is a plank straight out of Karl Marx's Communist Manifesto. I would think that the founders of this nation would find abhorrent a system of taxation which is based on a philosophy alien to the one on which this nation was founded. But as far as the regressivity is concerned, we would have the circuit breakers, the refund or rebate check system, which would deal with the problem with the poor.
Plus the fact the national sales tax is a proportional tax, and you will find, I don't care who it is, whatever they are, what level of income, they tend to spend most of what they make.
Or more.
Or more, as most of us are. But so they, in actuality, the man who is, the doctor who makes $300,000 a year, he drives a Mercedes, he lives in the big house, he spends his money. And this gentleman is fooled by the system that we have now. He has the most regressive system that's possibly can be thought of, and it's mainly because of the hidden buildup. Corporations do not pay taxes. They collect them, and then they add on 59 cents for the charge for their lawyers and so forth, and we pay it in the retail price.
Let me point out also that for every dollar we send to Washington, they spend $1.83. So if you think you're getting efficiency in your government under the current system, that's totally that's smoke and mirrors.
Okay. Thank you, sir, for calling in. Appreciate it. Good morning. You have a question.
Yeah, this is Bill Copeland, Newton, man. I wonder if the collection of this national sales tax, would that be sufficient to carry over the programs such as Social Security, or would those remain in place? I'll hang up and listen.
Okay, thank you.
Currently, the way we have looked at the proposal to submit to Congress and keep it in a simple manner, we would not touch the Social Security at this point in time.
We'd let the Social Security be taken out.
Right. It would probably, it could well be that they would increase whatever percentage was necessary to cover the Social Security and do it in the same way, and that would be okay too when Congress got to debating it. But for the time being, we would not propose doing anything with Social Security.
But I would point out those on Social Security would be spending a smaller percentage of their incomes on the things of life, the necessary items that they have to purchase. Because as I pointed out earlier, under this system, given the increased simplicity, given the loss of the expenditure of $600 billion we currently spend in this country to comply with this incredibly complex, almost Byzantine system, people would have greatly increased spending power.
Well, we're out of time, but there's a lot of folks on the line, so gentlemen, will you stay around and answer some more phone calls?
Will.
Okay, we want you to write to them or call them if you'd like to. Again, Citizens for Alternative Tax System, P.O. Box 28758. They'll send you some brochures, Atlanta, Georgia, 30358-0758, or 1-800-767-7577, or call them 404-942-1074. But right now, continue to call 792-3195, and they'll stay around and answer some more calls. Thank you both so much for being on the program. Neil White and Dick Backert, they are here for Citizens for an Alternative Tax System, or CATS. Now, Gary's up next, and the bottom half hour, we'll talk to the AEA.